Good morning. It's that time of year again, folks. Although I think, looking at the display so far, we're a week, maybe 2 weeks too early. But it's bluebell season, and I thought I'd bring you along on a recce visit because although this is a woodland I've been to before, it's fairly local to me. I've never really come up with some compositions that I'm 100% happy with. But it was the closest one to me, and the sunrise didn't look that good, and there's no fog. So I thought I could at least come out and practice and see if I can get my eye back into woodland. It seems like forever since I've been out in the woods, and it isn't really. But I've got hair all over the place. The last few times I've been out, we've had really good conditions with fog and mist. But the sun is rising over there. Actually, it's over there, kind of behind the camera. And there's a big bank of trees in the background, which the sun has got to get above before it starts shedding any light over here. It's just beginning to hit the tops of the trees over there, but it's going to take, 10-15 minutes before we get any interesting light on these trees. So I'm just having a mosey round to see what I can find. There's a beech sapling just here at the side of a very tall tree. This could be a beech tree, you know what I'm like with trees. There's no leaves on it yet. And there's a carpet of blue, but there's not quite enough blue. If I go down, I don't think there's enough blue to make it stand out. There's also a tree to the left-hand side of the sapling at the back, which is going to be slap bang behind some of the leaves. And I'd really like it to be a clear view. I can't walk around this side of the tree because there's bluebells, and I'm being very cautious. I'm hopping in the gaps where I can't see any bluebells coming up. Looking at the ones that are out, some of them almost seem to be going over, but there's plenty of shoots that haven't got actual plants on. I'm also looking for wild garlic, and I got a lovely whiff of it as I walked through, but I couldn't see any. I've seen little clumps, but my favourite garlic woodland is closed off now, so I might not do that again. Oh, I can just see a patch of light. I don't know if you'll catch it on the camera, just coming in on the left-hand side of these trees. So without further ado, I'm going to shut up and see if I can catch that light. I'm looking for an airy light image. I can't do too long an exposure because there's a bit of a breeze and that's going to move the trees and the flowers. Yeah, I think it's a case of get set up, take a test shot, see what it's like, and then go from there with my shutter speeds. But I'd like to catch that patch of light. Well, I was going to move locations, or positions should I say, but I mentioned earlier, just here, there's a twig branch sticking out, and there is now a gorgeous beam of light coming through. We've got some light appearing on these trees, and we've got a massive carpet of bluebells, and this little fella is the sapling that I was on about. And I thought, I wonder, is that going to work? And it actually does. I've had to jiggle positions slightly. You probably won't make it out on this camera. On the left-hand side is an uprooted tree, and it's put a great big lump of dirt right in the middle of the image. And I didn't like that, so I've just sidestepped slightly to get it as out of view as I can. And I'm now going to have to up the shutter speed because I want that light to really pop amongst the darker surround. And I'm just playing with the polarizer because there's a holly bush on the left hand side of the big tree on the left hand side of the image. And I'm not convinced I want that without any sheen on it, and the polarizer removes the sheen. So I'm just going to take an image with and without polarization, because I'm not quite sure which one I want. But yeah, that I think I'm actually happy with. The image, sorry, I know you're talking to the woodland. Hold on a second. I've forgotten my train of thought now. Yes, the image is framed by two trees, one tree either side. We have trees leading off into the distance and they're beginning to get light on them. And I had to put my hair down. I know I'm digressing because I look like a right dork with my hair up and this hat on. Yes, that I think I'm happy with. There are lots of uprooted trees around here. I know it's been quite a year for gales and storms and stuff. Yes. Sorry, I keep digressing. I just get random thoughts of trains of thoughts of trains of thoughts in my head. Yes. Right, now I am definitely going to mosey on down that way and have a look at a new, maybe the same point of view, the same subject, but from a different angle, different point of view. I don't think I had enough sleep last night because I can't get my words straight. Yeah. On a visit like this, on a recce visit where I've come out to see, first of all, are the bluebells in bloom? Secondly, what compositions are available? If I can get one image that I'm excuse me, really, really happy with, it's not been a wasted journey. We're getting more dappled light in the background on that, so I'll probably just take one more f5.6, a 50th of a second, ISO 400, and we're at 130 mil. Yeah, there's more light on the trees on either side, so I can probably increase that shutter speed up to 160s because I don't want it too bright. That's the thing, when you start getting light in woodland, there is a fallen tree right in the distance. Yeah, disappeared. And the sunlight is just catching. When the sunlight wasn't on it, you didn't really know it was there. Now the sunlight's on it, you can see it in all its glory, and that's really irritating. Yeah, the earlier shots, there was no illumination on it. It worked wonderfully. Might be the clone tool stamp, I think. Right, I'm going to mosey off down that way. Catch you in a minute. I got carried away listening to the bird song. Oh, it's absolutely divine. I've had a little bit of a mosey, and the images I have in my head aren't achievable here because they're not there. What I was hoping for was, having said that, I think I've just seen one. What I was hoping for was a carpet of bluebells, upright trees with a sapling beech tree. Doesn't matter how, well, preferably sort of half the way up a tree trunk, and some nice light, and fog and a few unicorns thrown in for good measure with a rainbow. Excuse me, I've got muddy knees because, anyway, I'm digressing, yes. As you can see, I've come really down low. I spotted this little bluebell here, and I always find it very hard with single bluebells to make a decent composition. So this one I have gone square crop. At least I think I've gone square crop. I've done one with him central and I've done one with him on the right hand side. I've done portrait and I've done landscape. It's always worth taking a variety of compositions when you're shooting a subject, because sometimes what looks good on the back of the camera doesn't actually work when you get it on the big screen. So I try to do, as I say, landscape and portrait, because I'm not really sure what I want to do with that. And I've also done zoomed in quite a way, zoomed out. I've done f2.8 and then I've gone f5. With f2.8, because the bells are at slightly different angles, you've got a very narrow field of view. Plane of view? I think it's plane of view. So you'll end up with one bell in focus and the other's not. But the f2.8 gives you a really shallow depth of field with the background, which is what I wanted. So there's a compromise going on. I could focus stack, I can't be bothered. I think f.5 works, it blurs out the background enough. There's a patch of moss behind that bluebell, and that gives a nice deep greeny feel. And the f5 gives all the bells in focus, which I'm quite happy with. The polarizer doesn't seem to be doing a huge amount there. Maybe making the purpley blue of the bluebell pop slightly more. One little problem I had was this is just encroaching, and I've just realised you've probably gone out of view now. If I pull this around here, it's a tricky case of lining it up. The background is really, really bright. I will get the hang of where this tripod head is working. I think that's going to have to be portrait. It's very bright. Polarizer makes a smidge of a difference. That's most definitely a square crop and most definitely portrait. I'm just going to refocus, which is a bit of a trick with this lens because it is on a bit of a hair trigger. The light is catching it and the background. So I'm going to try 1/125th of a second. That'll freeze the motion being caused by the wind. Yeah, I don't dislike that. It's not my favourite image, but as a square I think it will work. Yeah, and I'm happy with everything in focus there. I'm going to try landscape, but in this instance I'm already feeling that landscape isn't going to work. And if it's landscape, I want it off to the right. Check focus. I've just zoomed out a smidge. I've got a 3-second delay on the camera as well. Yeah, there's too much tutty-tut in the background. Darken that down a bit. Go to 1/60th. Oh, we're at f4.5, sorry. That's better. It's really dark on this side and you can see the light coming in. Yeah, happy with that. And the one thing I do always do is check focus before I move the camera. Check it before I take the image in case I've knocked it, and then take the image, check focus, because there's nothing worse than thinking you've got something in focus, getting home, putting it on the big screen and going, bugger, that didn't work. Right, I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the bird song for a bit, I think.